Hello, my name is Kate Donley, and I'm a librarian at the Oak Lawn Public Library in Oak Lawn, Illinois. My library is only about 15 minutes away from Moraine Valley Community College. And I'd like to talk to you about American libraries and also what public libraries are. When I talk to people about libraries, often I say, what do you think a library has? And the answer is usually books. Libraries have books. But actually today, I want to show you how public libraries have much more than books. I am a new librarian. I became a librarian 1 year ago. Before that, I was in English as a second language teacher for 25 years. I love my new career in libraries, and I hope you will learn to love your public library too. First, let's do a little vocabulary. Some of the words that I will mention today include the following: public, privacy, check out, check in, library card, fine or fee, patron, and overdue. I'm wondering if you can guess what some of the meanings of those words are. So public, which one of these four meanings would that match up with? If you say C, for any person who lives in a community, you're right. Privacy is also very important to libraries. And the meaning of privacy is not reporting personal information. Let's talk a little bit more about privacy. I bet you have a cell phone just like I do. And on your cell phone, when you go to use it, have a code, a PIN that you use. Probably you don't tell other people your PIN. You keep that information private to yourself as a secret. At libraries, we also believe in privacy, and we don't tell our patrons information to other organizations like the police or ICE. Another word that I have on my list is check out. And if you think that means to borrow, you're right. And the word check in means to return. So at libraries, we check out books to take them home and check them in to return them. Let's look quickly at the next set. A library card is F, library identification. And I'll talk to you today about how to get a library card. Then fine or fee are money for a late or lost item. We'll talk about those too. Next is a very important word. That's the word patron. And patrons are people who visit the library. Patrons are a library's VIPs. And when you go to your community public library, you will be treated as a VIP, especially at the Oak Lawn Public Library. And finally, the last word is overdue, which is a library item that is late. Let's talk about where public libraries are. So on this slide, I've got Moraine Valley Community College, and then I'm showing you the driving map to the Oak Lawn Public Library, which is on 95th Street near Cicero. And probably some of you live in Chicago Ridge or Bridgeview, Palos Hills, Palos Heights, Burbank, Worth, even Chicago neighborhoods. And people who live in those communities have their own library. In Chicago Ridge, there is a public library. In Burbank, there is a public library. But you are welcome to go to other libraries also. So you can visit the Oak Lawn Public Library, even if you live in Burbank or Bridgeview. And you can use your library card at the Oak Lawn Public Library, even if you live in another city, town, or village. Libraries in Illinois are friends. And so if you check out a book in Burbank and you want to return it in Oak Lawn, that's fine. Anyway, let's talk more about libraries. So, what is a library? A library is a place with access to resources, including books, media, entertainment, technology, and events like classes, concerts, and lectures. These resources can be physical or online. So you can have a paper book or an ebook that you're reading on your phone. Now, I know at the Moraine Valley Community College, you have a wonderful library. That's an academic library. Academic libraries are connected to schools or universities or colleges. But what's a public library? Public libraries are connected to a community, a neighborhood, city, suburb, or a town. Public libraries are free for people who live in those communities. Libraries are paid for by local taxes, and library cards are free. That's the best news. I'm wondering if you have a library card. If you don't, I'd like to tell you how to get one. First, know that public libraries are for adults, seniors, families, children, and teens. Even babies can benefit from coming to the public library by going to story time, where you can sing and play with toys. The library has different parts. These are some of the parts that you'll hear about. The first one is the reference desk. This is where adults can go to ask questions and learn more about the library. Next is the circulation desk. This is where you get your library card and where you can check in and check out books. Next is youth services. Youth services is the special area for children and families. There's also sometimes a special teen room. In my library, the teen room is on the adult floor. Then there's the computer center, where you'll have access to technology. And then there are also meeting rooms. At my library in Oak Lawn, we have study rooms that patrons can borrow for 2 hours, and you don't have to have a library card in order to do that. We also have large meeting rooms where patrons who live in Oak Lawn for free can reserve a room to have a meeting. Now, in order to get a library card, your library needs an ID that confirms your name and your address in the community. That's all. You don't have to have a passport. You don't have to have a driver's license. Sometimes you can use a bill or a statement from your bank. You do not need to be a US citizen, and you don't need to have a social security number in order to get a library card. Also, the library keeps your data private and does not report to ICE or the police about your personal information or what you read. Most libraries accept other Illinois library cards. You can register your library card at my library and borrow books with no problem. Illinois libraries are friends and cooperate that way. Also, you do not need to get a new library card every year. Now, here's the question. What can you find at a library? A library is a safe, accessible place that is warm in the winter and cool in the summer. There are bathrooms, water fountains, and diaper changing tables. You'll find places to rest, read, and study, plus free Wi-Fi. There are areas for children to play, and there are also places for teens. There are books, DVDs, CDs, record albums, newspapers, and magazines. There are programs, classes, and events. On the right-hand side, you'll see a mariachi band that was playing at my library at a free concert. And on the other side, you'll see a patron attending a free painting class. Then at many libraries, you'll find things. For example, if you want to learn how to play the guitar or play the piano, you can go to the library and check out an electric piano with your library card. We have several at Oak Lawn. You'll also find cake pans, hotspots, DVD players, and sometimes even Chromebooks that you can check out. There are government documents, museum passes to go to many museums for free, and then you'll also, of course, find librarians like me. You can visit with and relax with your friends. you can make friends, and this is all part of the community. Sometimes patrons are worried about fines and fees. Fines and fees are what libraries can charge patrons for late or lost items. Now, it's important to know that most libraries do not charge for late items anymore. If your items are late, usually they will just renew, or the library will reach out to you and let you know that you should send in your item as quickly as possible. Libraries try not to charge their patrons fees anymore. Also, public libraries have lots of technology that can be used if you have a library card or not. Public libraries have computer centers with free or cheap computer time. They have copy machines, fax machines, scanning, email access, free Wi-Fi, technology classes, and I forgot to mention printing. You can come print documents at the Oak Lawn Public Library for 10 cents a page for black and white and 30 cents a page for color. Now let's talk about some of the resources that public libraries have in other languages. At Oak Lawn Library, we have a world languages collection with books in Arabic, Polish, and Spanish. We also have books and materials for children in these languages as well. Librarians believe that it's important for people to enjoy reading and get information in their own languages as well as English. And it's especially important for children to keep learning the language of their household at their home. We also have materials for people who are interested in learning English as a second language, like you're doing at Moraine Valley. So at the Oak Lawn Library, we have many resources for people who want to learn English. We have books, ESL classes, audio materials, and then we have a digital app called Mango. Other libraries in the area have different apps like Bluebird and Pronunciator that can help you learn English when you're not in class at Moraine Valley. We also have citizenship information, and I hope in the future we will have citizenship classes. We have a free ESL class every Thursday at 9:30 at the Oak Lawn Public Library. I'm the teacher. I hope that you will send your friends or relatives to me if they are interested in learning English. And at our ESL class, we encourage parents to bring their young children. So we have many families who come to our ESL class. In this picture, you'll see some of my students with their children. Another thing we need to talk about are digital services. So digital services are the library that you can have on your phone or computer. So when I get a book, I can read it on paper. I can also use a free app called Libby and look up the ebook version or the audiobook version on my phone. So over here on the left, you can see what a book looks like when I'm reading it on my phone. This is free from the library. We also at Oak Lawn have a kind of library Netflix. It's not Netflix, but Oak Lawn gives its residents 8 free movies a month. And you can have great listening practice by watching movies. And you can always have the subtitles or reduce the speed so that it's at a better speed for your comprehension and understanding. Some of these apps have special entertainment or movies for children. So Canopy, which is on the right, has a special section called Canopy Kids, which has safe materials for children. I also want to tell you about something called reference services. Librarians love to answer your questions about anything. Reference is a free service at all public libraries. You can visit your library's reference desk and talk to ask questions, or you can call the library and ask your question on the phone. You can even go to a website and chat with a librarian. And your questions can be about anything, like what time is the movie Wakanda Forever starting at the Chicago Ridge movie theaters? Or how do I find a lawyer who speaks Arabic? Or what do I need to do to buy a house? Librarians love to answer all your questions. So I hope you will please come to visit the Oak Lawn Public Library, and also that you will visit the library in your community too. Thank you so much, and I hope I meet you someday.